Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Scott the intern. I'm here for my second go around in 1 Corinthians. This time it's chapter 8. I know there was some question whether I would be doing chapter 8 because Pastor Andrew did chapter 7 last week. And I thought, well, maybe Pastor John will do chapter 8. And then I won't have to talk about food. See, food and I don't get along too well. Let me set the stage here. While everybody was in Florida for spring break, my family and I went to Cape May, New Jersey. While there, I decided to take a long walk. During that walk, in fact, a little ways into that walk, my knees began to hurt. And then my feet began to hurt. And then my back began to hurt. And then my neck began to hurt. So you get a picture here. I was hurting. I knew it was my weight and knew I had to do something about it. So when I got back, I decided to work with a fitness professional on my nutrition and my exercise. In fact, for the first week, that's gone great. Last night, though, I had a real test. My family ordered pizza. I love pizza. It's my favorite food. And so while everybody was eating a slice of that pie of perfection, I was making better nutritional choices. We'll leave it at that. But what does Paul have to say about this? If you'll remember from our talk last week, I talked about visiting Corinth and how they were still prideful of their gods. Part of the culture back in Paul's time was to worship idols and gods in their temples, and often this involved ritual sacrifice of food. Food meaning meat. Part of the food would be used for the sacrifice, part of it would be eaten within the temple, and the remaining portion of it would be sold in markets. These temples were used for more than just worshiping. They could have been used for birthdays, banquets, weddings, funerals, even conducting business. Many of the Christians and Jews refused to go in there for these events because they knew about the rituals that took place within. So they came to Paul and asked him, "What about the food that is sold in the market? Is this good to eat? Or is it tainted because part of it was used for pagan rituals?" Paul says in verse 1, "We all have knowledge, but knowledge puffs up while love builds up." What does he mean by this? He means that sometimes knowledge can permit us to overlook the sin within our own hearts and become comfortable in our own understanding. Paul's asking the church to look beyond their knowledge and to build others up with love. Paul agrees that it's okay to eat the meat sold in markets because the idols have no objective spiritual existence. But Paul is concerned how this may affect those that he calls weak in conscience. These are people that could not eat the food without recalling their past religious associations with this food. And their inner thoughts would make them feel guilty. And because they were compelled to eat the food not out of faith, they felt they were being sinful. And Paul explains that if we cause another to violate his own conscience, then we are being sinful. Paul gives us 3 reasons why we should abstain voluntarily from eating food in front of others that can't handle it. First, as Christians, we should behave in a manner that does not lead others into sin. The second is that flaunting our own freedoms can damage the spiritual lives of another. And the third is that our treatment of our brothers equates to the treatment of Jesus. So therefore, we are avoiding sinning against Jesus. 1 Corinthians chapter 8 may talk about foods that are used for pagan ritual sacrifices, something that we don't normally deal with today. But there are other areas in our life where we can look to apply these principles. For instance, alcohol is a big product in this country. One person may be able to handle one drink, but that one drink may tempt somebody else to make the wrong decision. So we avoid alcohol for the purpose of not causing our brother to stumble. Another example, at the beginning of this video, I talked about my choice to make better nutrition decisions, and my family was eating pizza. Maybe they could have voluntarily abstained from eating pizza for my benefit. Anyway, I hope you got something out of this message today. I pray that you'll look into your life today and see what freedoms you may have that may be more difficult for others. I pray you have a blessed day and a blessed week. Thank you.